Hi, now welcome back to my channel. Today, well, I'm like a bit of a kid in a sweet shop right now, really. It's not every day you get to meet what I can only describe as bikes of my childhood, my heroes, these things. And it's not every day you get a chance to get up close and personal with them. And what we're looking at today is basically the evolution of Yamaha Superbikes, 5-valve 750 Superbikes, from 1985 right through to the turn of the millennium. And I've been lucky enough to join Mr. Graham Marchant today in his secret South of England lair, where he's got a collection of these bikes. And what I'm going to start off with is, we're going to start off two at a time, and we're going to start off with the oldest and work our way through. So Graham, thanks for letting me come down and
no problem
see your collection today.
No problem.
And well, as I say, I'm like a kid in a sweet shop here. I mean, obviously I've known you for a long time.
Yes, yeah.
Since I was tiny and probably getting in my way at the paddock in your racing days.
Probably.
But to come down here and see what you've got here is amazing. And as I was saying, the Yamaha range of superbikes, ranging from the 80s onwards, to me, and I may be a little biased on the Yamaha front, obviously.
Yeah,
with,
I'm the same.
They are, to me, the definitive superbikes of their era, whichever era you look into. So yeah, I mean, starting from the beginning, tell us about your collection.
Okay, this is a recent addition to the collection, the FZ 750. I raced one of the first ones in the country. Probably your father had some dealing with him getting it so early. So yeah, I had one of the first FZs, and I raced it in the Metzler British Championship, and I just love the bike. I've been used to big production bikes, and to get on this 750, it's such an eager engine that it revs so well. It was very light, you know, in my thinking, from what I've been used to.
It was a game changer, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, it was, and it was a great bike. The problem was the 16-inch wheels, getting tyres, and I had real problems because I was sponsored by Metzler when I bought the bike, and Metzler weren't doing decent tyres, and I ended up riding on Pirellis because they had a better tyre. But yeah, you know, and I had a pretty good season on it. And really enjoyed the 750. So it had to be this colour scheme. I've been looking for one for a while. So this is, you know, to go back to the start of my 5-valve Yamaha.
I mean, these came out in, if my memory serves me correctly, about 1985, weren't
yes,
they?
Yeah,
these were launched.
yeah.
And these, as I say, they completely tore up the rule book as far as what superbike racing was.
Well, yes, very much so. I mean, there was a Suzuki GSXR 750.
Yeah.
And there was very much either you were those or you were the FZs.
Well, I was saying to you earlier, one of my earliest memories of going racing was Brands Hatch, probably 86, 87, transatlantic.
Yeah.
I must have been 7 or 8 years old maybe, and being absolutely blown away by, I mean, I suppose it was Kevin Schwantz on the GSXR 750.
Yes, yeah.
Wayne Rainey on the VFR 750.
Yeah.
And then you had the English guys who were my heroes at the time, like you had Parrish and Reimer and Hewitt, Ray Swan, Kenny Irons,
yeah, Mick Grant. They were all out on the super stocks, and yeah.
And they held their own against these full-blown superbikes.
Yeah.
But the British bikes weren't full-blown superbike spec. They were production super stock, weren't they? Yeah. But even so, these things, if you ask me, they still look great.
Yeah. Well, you know, as I say, a bit like you, I'm biased. You know, having raced them and owned one in '85. Yeah, I think they're a lovely little bike. Little, I mean, because they are. They're very sort of. It's very narrow bike, and they handle so well.
And that's the thing that strikes me about these. And everything I've heard about them, hopefully at some point in the near future I'll be able to sling my leg over. Yeah. But they were, for their time as well, and even by today's standards, still a tremendously good handling bike.
Yeah.
An eager and able engine, which, if I remember right, Yamaha actually kept using that engine up to quite a late period of time with other models as well, through the phases and stuff. So yeah, what a fantastic piece of machinery.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, next on the list, I mean, this absolutely needs no introduction at all. I mean, the bike here, this was designed as a homologation specialist. For anyone that doesn't know, it's the FZR 750R OW01.
Yeah.
Launched in '89
Yes.
as a homologation special for what was at the time the brand new World Superbike Championship, and it was Yamaha's bike to take that on. It was built as a race bike.
Yeah.
Headlights and brake light added on as an afterthought to get the right amount of bikes produced to get it to qualify for racing. Yamaha's answer the RC30, which was from Honda, the V4, obviously another legendary bike. But if you pick camps, again, I think I always fall on the side of the OW.
And this was a limited number. I mean, this was sort of, basically they originally built 500 to homologate them for the World Superbike. I mean, there were more than 500 built. I don't know the actual figures, but it was, compared with the RC30, a much more limited production run on these.
Yeah.
And having come from many years racing big production bikes, and then going to this, you knew immediately you started working on it that it's a race bike. It was, everything was so accessible and made to be able to work on very easily.
I mean, it's just, even just looking at it now, you look at the frame, I mean, suspension is O-lings throughout, isn't it, pretty much. Close ratio box on these? Yeah, close ratio box. Everything about it was designed for speed and racing. And these raced through from, like 89, wasn't it, in BSB, yet again, riders like Ryan and McElnay, you name it, came through here. Obviously, your good self, and a certain Mr. Bunton, and a few others, to name the least. These were riders I grew up watching, and grew up absolutely enthralled by seeing. And obviously, it wasn't just short circuit, it was the Isle of Man as well. You looked at, I mean, one that comes directly to mind to me is a TT92, Fogarty and Hislop.
I mean, that's absolutely, infamous TT race, and I mean, Fogarty rode the wheels off his OW01.
Yeah, and, I mean, I think he had a gearbox problem and still set an outright lap record.
That's right.
I know ultimately Hislop won the race on the Norton.
Yeah.
But it was Fogarty with the typical Fogarty guts and determination to keep going, and his bloody mindedness, so he was not going to give in. Dad was out at the TT that year, and he said he remembered talking to him before he went out, and he was more bothered about the amount of flies that might be splatting over his visor than anything else. But that lap record stood for quite some time as well. But yeah, this bike ran from '89 until, I mean, I know you were racing it through to the mid '90s, weren't you?
Yes, I was. Late '90s. It remained at club level anyway, competitive. I mean, in fact, Ted and I rode at the, I think it was the Irish round of the World Superbike at Brands Hatch.
Yes,
In '93, was it?
'93, yeah. That was one where Whittam came off in the wet.
And
Falapa, right.
Ted and I rode at that meeting. There was a European Superbike support race, and both of us would have qualified for the World Superbike race. But I had problems in the race. My footrest came off and going through Hawthorns, which wasn't good, and I ended up sitting at the side of the track for the last 4 or 5 laps. But it was and it was I rode it I think the following year when Fogarty was on the 916.
94,
There was another support race which I managed to ride at, which was quite something to go out on the grid with the number of people there were at Brands. I mean, I was an also-ran, but just to be there and to be part of that show was fantastic.
And that's when World Superbike was at its absolute peak.
Absolutely,
in the mid-90s. That was real foggy mania. The flags everywhere. I mean, it was Euro '96, Fogarty, Oasis. The '90s were such a bloody good time.
Yes.
And for the bike such as this to still be competitive at that point as well, considering what it was then against. Obviously, the Wiser Death was out by that point. Ducati obviously had the legendary 916 out by that point. Yet a bike that was from the previous decade, with heritage going back to a bike even older still. It was just It shows its worth.
Yes.
It shows its worth.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a stunning bike. So, what's the power output of the? Do you know the power outputs on the LW off the top of your head?
Mine was just over 120 something. That was tuned. We had quite a few kit bits in my race bike. This, obviously, I never raced this bike. I bought this when I gave up racing. I still have my race bike. Luckily, I've managed to keep that. But yeah, I'm not sure what the basic.
Well, it's always a case of the homologation special. So they're always built to then have a race kit added to.
Yeah.
So it was never.
The biggest problem with this, and I don't know why Yamaha did it. They came out with CV carbs. Didn't have flat slides.
Okay, now I always thought they had flat slides.
No, they never had flat slides. I mean, everyone fitted them, but for the World Superbike, when I did this European Championship race, I went to scrutineering. Little old me and some French scrutineer takes the tank off and says, no, we can't have these carburetors. So I had to come home and get the standard carbs which I had and fit to it. We never went out in the race with the standard carbs. They painted paint it on them so they can check whether everything's as they checked it.
Yeah.
So we got it through scrutineering on CVs. Went back down to the paddock, fitted the flat slides because I knew I'd get absolutely nowhere. I wasn't going to be up the front anyway. That I knew that, but my mate got some humble paint and matched the colour, and we painted the flat slides. So
where there's will, there's a way.
so that was one of the. I never understand why Yamaha didn't bring it out with flat slides, because it was a factor that I'm sure it could have gone a lot better on flat slides.
It's just, yeah, again, it's one of those bikes to me is still an absolute thing of beauty. Okay, now moving on, we've travelled through time now. We've gone from 1985 to 1989 for the OW01, which obviously ran through as a model until 93, which was then replaced and renewed by the YZF 750. Now the YZF 750 came in two guises. You had the R, which was the road version, which had passenger seat and slightly more road biased gearing, and you had the SP. And the SP was the homologation version for racing. It was a closely ratio gearbox. It was more adjustability for the suspension, but it wasn't an out and out homologation special per se like the OW01. It was still trick, and it was still immensely successful, although never quite clinched the World Superbike Championship. It did do rather successfully in endurance racing, in Superbikes, and in British Superbike or Super Cup as it was back then as well. So Graham, you've got two models here. Obviously you've got an original Pinky, the
93 Pinky, yeah, SP. So this had flat slides.
Yeah.
They had sensibly gone to flat slides on this. Close ratio gearbox, Olin suspension that you sort of mentioned. Single seat, no provision for a pillion passenger on this. Yeah, and again they produced something in the region of, they had to produce 500 to homologate them for the World Superbike.
Now I remember these in the hands of, well, certainly Mr. Whittam on the fast orange ones, doing rather well.
Yeah.
Obviously Terry Ryan was quite successful on one in European Superbikes. Mackenzie Hislop.
Yeah.
You know, they all came through on them. They certainly ran right through until the late 90s, didn't they?
Yes,
with the
they
YZF?
did. Yeah.
And Perovino in World Superbike.
Oh yeah, very much so. He was a real campaigner of the YZF.
And I remember obviously Colin Edwards, Haga, people like that doing rather well. The late Yasutama Nagai.
Yes,
all rode incredibly competitive.
Yeah, and Daytona, Lawson at Daytona on the Vance and Hines YZF.
Likewise with the OW01.
Yeah.
For Lawson at Daytona too. Obviously, it's a name that can't be. You always think of Lawson with 500 GP.
Yeah.
Which was right. That's where he was famous. But he obviously made his way through Superbike to get there.
Yeah.
But would also go back and cameo at big races.
Yes. Yeah.
Be that the Suzuka 8 Hours or the Daytona, as you say.
Yeah.
But yes, for YZF 750, the original one, as you say, was was what came into the UK. As I remember Dad having a few over the years, and obviously. Did you race? You racer was F as well?
No,
you
no, I
didn't.
didn't.
Didn't
Ted Bunton moved on to YZF, and I was at the stage with children growing up, that sort of thing. Money wasn't, I'd got what I got, but I couldn't move on, so I just kept my OW running.
Yeah.
There wasn't a great deal of change, and I always liked the way the OW handled. I stuck with the OW. These came along. There's very slight differences in the engine, but very, very little.
Not enough to make too much of a difference to what you wanted.
No.
But obviously, this model, the SP, did evolve, and it never evolved in the UK per se.
No.
However, the model we got behind us here is a 95.
Yes.
It's a 95 YZ750 SP or SP2.
Yeah.
And there are quite a few, obviously there are similarities, but there are also quite a few noticeable differences.
Yes.
And I think one of the main ones we pointed out was rear swing arm was adjustable.
Yes, the pivot on the rear swinging arm is multi-adjustable, so you could alter it up, down, round. And the other big factor, in particular with racing, is the rear subframe was detachable.
Whereas it wasn't on the...
so if you had a bend on the back of if you had a crash, then you've got problems with a bent frame. With this, you can just take the subframe off and replace it.
Yeah. And now these were, as far as I'm aware, the SP2 version was available within Europe, Germany, etc., but never, as I say, officially available in the UK.
As far as I know, I've never ever seen one, and having been a Yamaha nut for years, I've never seen one in the UK, only on the race bikes, only on the Capri's, Boost and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I've never seen one before. I managed to find this one in Norway, so I don't think they were ever brought into the UK as a model for sale.
But I mean, when you look at these still, I mean, to me, these are still a modern superbike in my mind. These are, I mean, what, 93, so I was what, 15, 16, 94, 17, 95. So these were, these were the superbike of the time. And to me, they still are, and they are. I mean, you look at them, this has still got, the suspension is noticeably different here, the O-rings on the back here. The brakes, 6-pot calipers, twin 6-pot calipers on the front. Ridiculously light. I mean, these were launched at the time. I always remember the advertising was Yamaha had designed a bike to be light like a 600, but go like a 900, which was in answer to Honda, who had just launched a Fireblade. Which was more.
Well, I think the sales suffered a bit for Yamaha with the 900, the Fireblade coming out. But they were still a cracking bike. They handled well. They went well. I think they were at the time a bit underrated.
They were never direct competitors on track, though, were they? Because obviously Honda, as far as superbike racing, had the RC45 at the time. RC30 to RC45 for V4s, 750s, whereas the Fireblade was obviously a 900, and at that time didn't qualify for superbike racing. More the open kind of categories, the stock classes. But so, how long have you had these bikes?
Well, these I haven't had as long. The OW, that road OW, I bought when I finished racing in 2003, and I got this sort of this 5-valve bug. I bought this one probably about 10 years ago. I bought this on an online auction in Italy. I bought it unseen, and as you can see, it's a beautiful example. I was very lucky. I bought my R7, which we will see in a minute, and then I thought, well, I haven't got the SP2, which is maybe a complete collection of the homologation,
the one between the two,
the homologation special. So I've luckily found this on a website, European website that's a bit like Auto Trader, and I found this in Norway. It's done 3,400 kilometres, 2,000 miles from new, and it was. I bought it unseen. apart from photographs, and I was given some pretty good high resolution photos of it, so I could see it was in very good condition, hardly used, hardly run in. And I bought this about 7 years ago.
It's great to see that they've still got the love and the life out there to keep it going.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Well, thank you for letting us see those, Graham. And obviously you've dropped a big hint as to what's going to be coming out of the shed next.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
We'll crack on with that one in just a moment. Right. Okay. Right. Now, last but not least, and I think this one just deserves a piece all by itself, really, is, if you ask me, this is the absolute definitive 5-valve 750 Yamaha. Absolute definitive. This is the ultimate incarnation of 750 sports bike, if you ask me. I'm sure this needs no introduction. We're talking about the Yamaha YZF 750 R7. And we're not talking about the parallel twin R7 that we got today. And don't get me wrong, it's a lovely bike, but it's a little bit plain in comparison. This is absolute, like the OW01 before it, this was monikered the OW02. Absolute world superbike, homologation special, with absolutely no expense spared in its preparation. Now, Graham,
Yeah.
I mean, this bike, as I say, to me, is version of perfection.
Yeah.
Launched in 1999.
Yeah.
And the turn of the millennium, and this was the bike that so nearly won Yamaha World Superbike Championship in the hands of a certain Nori Haga. Unfortunately, things conspired somewhat against him because of a flu remedy or something along the lines of that.
Yeah,
but,
cold remedy or something.
Yeah, cold remedy. But this bike, I mean, just look at it. I mean, it's just...
yeah. It's garage porn.
Yeah. I mean, this bike could have an OnlyFans page of its own. You know what I mean? It's just, I mean, I don't get me wrong. I love the RC45s. I love the Ducati 916, but there's just something about the R7 that even now, 25 years on, or 26 years on.
Yeah.
Look at it. I mean, it's the frame was basically based on the YZL 500 at the time, the Delta Box 2, the YZL 500 at the time, the Grand Prix bike. You come around this side and you tap the rear swing arm here. The outlet swing. It's so thin. It's like it feels like you're tapping a Coke can.
Yes.
But it's strong. Everything about it was made with a purpose.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean,
built to flex.
Yeah.
It was built to flex. I mean, they'd finally got into the science of bikes flexing and bending and necessarily on corners and everything.
Yeah.
And it was to me, a bit like yourself. It's to me it's the ultimate 750 superbike.
I mean, the legend has it that obviously the road bike, when it came in road trim, because it was designed for a race bike, it was never really designed to be a road bike.
No, and it was limited to 500.
Yeah.
One run of 500.
And people, you read things when people saying, oh, like, you know, when you compare it to the other ones with powers down this, that and the other, and there was 600 that were probably kicking out a bit more power. You know what, that might be the case in standard trim, but it was never designed to be standard trim. It was designed to have that race kit put on it, which would completely release it. Yeah. And then it would blow things into the weeds.
Yes. Twin sets of injectors, and as standard, only one set was working.
Yeah.
So you needed slight modifications to then set the second set of injectors working. And then and all the other work that was kit that was available for it to turn it into a real weapon.
I mean, as I say, people like Hagen and Goreshi going through World Superbike on these. Obviously, you had the Virgin Yamahas back at the time, didn't you, with Mackenzie and Hislop and Hayden.
Yes, I've talked to James Hayden, and he reckons it's one of the sweetest handling bikes he ever rode.
And he's ridden a few over the years.
Yeah, my son did say to him, "Why did you keep falling off from them?" But I don't think he appreciated that comment.
Well, then he had the Foggy Patronus, which likes to catch fire to it. But yet again, another stunning bike. But when you look at it, I mean, obviously you've got the Öhlins forks, you've got Öhlins rear suspension. Everything is straight at the top drawer. the blue spot calipers, which even by today's standards are still immensely outstanding brakes. And you're looking at the exhaust here at Kaprovic system. Now this isn't just an end can, this is a full titanium system, which I think this exhaust system on its own is £5 grand's worth.
Yeah.
Is it not?
Yeah.
But everything about it was designed for racing. I mean, be it Superbike or also a degree of success in endurance racing.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
with the Motor France team. But I mean,
fully adjustable footrests, up, down, back, forward, wherever you want them. It was just everything. If you work on them, I've not worked on this. This is very, very low mileage, but I've had the tank and seat off, and I've had the throttle bodies off, and everything's quick connected, dry connectors, so you could just take everything apart very easily. Lovely to work on.
And even today's standards, in 2025, if you wanted to pick one of these up, and I said if you could find one, and that's if you could find one, you're looking in the ballpark of over £30,000. I mean, somewhere between 30 and 35,000, and that's not even for that's not even for a particularly showroom condition one either.
No, I mean most of them that have survived are.
Yes.
Because obviously a lot of that 500 were raced and put up the track, and
well, there's only one thing happens when you race it, isn't it? There's always a risk.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. And then of course quite a few had 1000cc engines put in them.
The R71s.
R71s. So yes, I don't know what numbers there are left in this sort of condition, but
I mean, when this came out in '99, obviously the 750 class was beginning to dwindle with Superbikes, wasn't it? Because obviously the rules allowed the twins up to 1,000 with the Ducatis, and it was always a struggle for the 750s with that.
Well, the following year the rules changed
to the thousands.
Yeah, so whether Yamaha didn't know that, I mean, they've obviously put a lot of money into developing this bike.
Yeah.
But very quickly, sadly, it was no longer competitive because the 1000cc came in
and they already had the R1 in existence at that point.
Yeah.
But this was that last hurrah of that homologation special, wasn't it? And it's just, I don't think there are any other words that you can really say other than just look at it. just look at it. I mean, even the wheels. They're just not your standard wheels on there either, are they?
No, there's very, very few parts that interchange. I mean, often YZFs and R1s, and if you look at the parts catalogues, the numbers, you
can find bits to make it fit.
This, I mean, rear wheel nut, titanium. It's everything's titanium. It's so light. Everything is built for a purpose.
Everything's designed to be fast. Basically, it's not designed to sit there. I mean, looking at the fairing, is it carbon fairing?
Yeah,
they are carbon, aren't they?
Yeah, carbon fairing. And seat. It's alloy tank, obviously.
And obviously, you had the twin. This was designed for the endurance racing with the twin filler caps, there, wasn't it? So, yeah, brilliant. Well, all I can say is thank you for letting us have a look around your collection. And once the roads get a little bit less crap all over them,
come the spring,
we'll dust the leathers off. But no, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. So hopefully that's given you a bit of a whistle-stop tour over a period of I'd say one of the most exciting periods in superbike racing and superbike development, from the 1985 FZ750 up to the 1999 R7, which obviously ran through till about 2002. I think it eventually rolled off the last one, rolled off the start line. But what a period of change for racing, and obviously racing continues to develop. Of course it does, and obviously I'd say the exoticness sometimes now has dwindled a little bit. You still do get the SPs coming through, and you look at the Ducatis, and you do get the SP versions of the Yamahas and the Hondas, but they are a lot more production based than they were back in these days. And these things were real kind of straight away, straight from the factory, designed as nothing else but a racer, and that's just evident there looking at them. So thank you for letting us have a look around your collection.
No
We really
problem.
appreciate it. Thank you
Yeah.
very much. Anyway, join in for some more next time round, and we'll be having a closer look. Thank you. Bye bye.